Assalamu alaikum. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Mr. Chairman, members of the dais, brothers and sisters, distinguished guests of honor of this 21st Jalsa of the Ahmadiyya community. I'd like to begin by sharing a personal experience. About 8 years ago, I had the opportunity of a lifetime, so to speak. One which many amongst those who are Muslims hope and aspire to have before they would leave this physical earth. It was the experience of going for pilgrimage to the house of God in Mecca. And I find it not a slight coincidence that in this year of 2006, as today we celebrate this gathering, there are many, as I speak, who are moving again toward that house of God in Saudi Arabia, in Mecca, to perform the many rites of pilgrimage and to have been blessed with this experience as I share with you today. The aspect of it which I want to dwell on for a moment is the experience of spending one day in a plain called Arafat, and then from there, the next day, you move toward a city in which they have erected 3 very large pillars. And the pillars get larger as you move down this long path back toward the house of God. The pillars are to represent a symbol of the demon called Satan. And one of the acts, one of the rituals of the pilgrimage is you take 3 pebbles, very small pebbles, pea-size, chickpea size, and you cast them toward these pillars, shouting out loud, Allahu Akbar, God is great. And thereby you are, in a sense, casting out demons, whether you feel they're your own demons within you or the demons around you. You can have a sense now of my personal experience that 1.5 to nearly 2 million pilgrims coming out of this plain and converging on this one spot, surrounding these pillars in concentric circles, moving out to a larger and larger size, everyone in their hand having 3 pebbles and casting toward these pillars. My first impression, my first personal expression was, most of the world is under 6 feet tall, and I'm over 6 feet tall, so I'm not going to the front of that line. But my next impression was, is it not the grace and power of God by which we truly cast out Satan? However, as you notice the pilgrims moving toward the pillars, they're becoming more and more frenzied and frantic and impatient to get their stones and to throw their stones and beat this demon for once and all, saying, aha, alas, Satan, I have crushed you. No more shall you be in my life. But what I witnessed on that day was an amazing spectacle. As the emotions began to rise and the spirits began to be clouded by the experience, there was no thought of what was in front of you, what was behind you, what was around you to your left and your right, just this desire to cast that demon out. And I saw people not picking up little small pebbles. They were grabbing anything and everything they could get their hands on, throwing toward those pillars. And I looked up and I saw shoes, umbrellas, I saw everything. I saw water bottles. And I realized right then and there that Satan must have been laughing. Those who thought they were casting him out, in fact, were bringing him in. Those who they thought was crushing the Satan was actually beginning to rise in their own veins out of this emotional frenzy which they had been brought into. And as you know, many years you hear the events that during the season of Hajj, pilgrimage, there have been stampedes and people have lost their lives. And the spot they mention where this takes place more often than not is a place where those pillars are erected for casting out the Satans. And this is where the stones, the act itself, as I say, loses its spirit and misses its mark, and people perhaps in the sight of God are failing to achieve this noble objective to rid themselves of the beast, the inner spirit, the outer spirit of Satan himself. Now, what I've been asked to speak upon today, to me, relates very much to this personal experience, because we're talking about allegations. We're talking about attacks upon one whom I consider to be very holy and very pious and very innocent of such allegations and insinuations. That is, the founder of the religion of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and also upon the very faith which he brought into this world. The essence of that faith is epitomized in my opening declaration. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I bear witness, there is none worthy of my love, my adoration, my worship, illallah, except God Almighty, prophet name being Allah. This is not unique to me as a Muslim. In fact, those who are sitting here today who are Christian or Jewish, they would know that when Jesus Christ himself was asked that what is the first commandment, what is the most important commandment, what is it that in a sense can summarize in one sentence what we should be all about? Christ in the Bible did not quote anything new. He didn't derive a new formula of faith. He didn't say something that was unique to his own experience as on a mission at that time. He quotes from the Old Testament, from Deuteronomy. And he says to those he's addressing, who were in fact Israelites, "Hear ye, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And you shall love your God with all your might, all your heart, and all your soul." This is, in fact, the essence of faith. It is the essence of the Islamic creed, which I have also pronounced. And is this spirit which, unfortunately, people do not realize that when they are attacking Islam, the message of peace, the message of godliness, the idea that peace on earth and goodwill to all men, we should be at peace with God, and what comes from what should emanate the peace of God to those which God has created, and therein lies the real beauty of what is called Islam, or Shalom, as our rabbi mentioned today, and the message of peace.